Hi everyone, so I'm here sharing another really lovely magazine box kit, and this is by John Next Door, and this is Craft Essential Series 167, which was issued in February. So this is the latest magazine that was out, and I think a lot of you is going to love it. There's so much included, so I'm going to show you the goodies that come with this magazine, starting with this lovely stamp set. You can see the cogs and the clock theme right through it. We have some lovely flowers and sentiments as well. We have congratulations, sent with love, you are special, happy birthday, happy retirement, special friend, time flies when you're having fun. So there's sentiments for lots of different occasions. We have some larger stamps, as you can see this whole square in here, or this one, and then we have some individuals as well to layer up and to add little elements to our projects. I really loved working with this one. You'll see how gorgeous this is. And then we have an embossing folder to match, and I do believe that this embossing folder is 5 by 5 inches. Yes, it's 5 by 5 inches. It's a real nice size. We have some dies to match our theme. I already have mine attached to a piece of magnetic sheet because I just don't like losing little bits and pieces. So first of all, we have a square outline die to this frame. You can see the cog detail all right through it, the mechanical details. And then you can either cut this into your cardstock or cut it out with a little frame die in here, and you will see these being used in all different ways on my cards, which I will share in a wee second with you. Then we have a clock die. You can also cut this into a cardstock, or you can use the matching frame die to cut this out and use this as an element to add to your card. And then also we have a smaller die which you can cut out in the middle, or you can just leave it as it is and stamp or add some elements onto that. We also have some little flowers and the hands of the clock. I really think this is so pretty. I was really excited to work with this commission. So we have a paper pad, and I'm going to walk you through it. I did not use the paper pad for my commission. I had worked a different color combination to use, but this is gorgeous, and I will be using this because I'm just getting ready to make actually a masculine card, and I think this is so gorgeous. So you can see we have loads of toppers you can cut out and add to your project, and then we have some stunning real like steampunk style kind of papers. You can see the same pattern coming through in all different colors, and I just absolutely love it. These would make lovely backgrounds to matching note cards, and they come in different colors too, so you could make different sets of that as well. We have some borders as well with the same stamps or prints as the stamps were earlier on. And then you can just see this going right through this paper pad, all the different colors of the same designs. I think it is so pretty, and this has quite a feminine feel to it with the pinks and the purples, but definitely is good for so many other projects as well. It doesn't only have to be feminine. As I said, I'm getting ready to make a masculine card with this kit, and I cannot wait to cut into these papers. Okay, so, and then once again the same, so you get 2 of each. So this is a very gorgeous paper pad, a large amazing stamp set, matching embossing folder, and matching dies. Now I don't have the physical copy of the magazine, I have the digital copy of it, and I can tell you it's amazing. I think a lot of you will love this kit, and I will leave a link to it in the description box below so you can go and check that out. And now I will link the video which I had recorded way back when I was commissioned to make this, just before I sent them off to practical publishing. I've recorded a little video showing all the 5 cards that I made. So I had to create 5 cards using the John Next Door kit, die cutting techniques, show the versatility of the die set, and everything that can be achieved with it. cards to be detailed but perfect for quick makes, a beginner to intermediate, 1 circle, 1 square, and 3 other shapes of my choosing. So the colorway that I was given is the one that you can see on my screen now, and now I will attach that video. I really hope you enjoy, and I'll see you back soon. So the first card that I made is a 6 by 6 inch top folding card, and you can see all that gorgeous sparkle. So what I did in here, I only used white card, and I added the color using my Distress Oxidings. So I did not use any colored card for this project. So the 5 3/4 of an inch squared, I added the villainous portion to just onto the edges, and then 5 1/2 inch squared, to which I used a little bit of a glitter on the edges using my chisel tip glue pen and adding some crystalline glitter. I hope you can pick up on that. I'm recording this quite late in the night, and it's just not great camera work here. So for the smaller square, I used 4 7/8 of an inch. Oh yeah, because first I embossed this piece in here, then I cut it down to 4 3/4 of an inch. So I used the embossing folder on a white piece of card, and I added the background to it just a little bit bigger. That's how it ended up, 4 7/8 of an inch. And again, I used the Victorian velvet to add some color to that. Then I die cut the clock using the 2 outline dies for the clock 3 different times. Then I layered them up just using some liquid glue, and then I've cut one of the large circles to which I added the purple ink, the villainous portion, the same as to the handles. And then I added one of that did come with the die cut in there, the white circle. I added it back so it wasn't all purple in there. And then to create my flowers, I dipped into my stash, and I used some floral dies from the Summer Flower Trio stamp and die set, which is by Chloe's Creative Cards, and I just used the smallest dies. I didn't use any stamps or anything, I just used the smallest dies. So I took a white piece of cardstock, I covered it with ink, with the Victorian velvet. I added double-sided sticky sheet to it, and then I die cut 6 times, and then I added glitter to it. Once it was die cut, I just pulled the backing sheet back and I added glitter, layered 2 layers up. The small flowers are from the die set, to which I added the tattered rose color. And the foliage is a foliage set. I don't know where the box is in here on my table, but this is what they look like. And these are again from Chloe's Creative Cards, and this is the leafy foliage die set. I love using these. This lovely detail. They leave lovely detail, debossed detail in the die cuts there. So I added pine needles color to that, and I just finished them off with a little gem. The sentiment I stamped with villainous portion, cut it into a thinner strip, added the fishtail at one end, and then I just layered it up on top of a slightly larger one, to which I added the purple color too. So this one was card number 1. For card number 2, I created a DL card. Now I did challenge myself to this one. I don't normally make DL cards, so this one was quite different for me, but I really enjoyed it. It measures 4 by 8 inches. So I took an 8 by 8 pins card, a white card, and I just scored it down halfway, and I folded it in half. So I got my 4 by 8 inch DL size card base. I used holographic silver cardstock in here, 4 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then a white piece of watercolor card cut to 3 1/2 by 7 1/2. I ink smoothed peacock feathers and pine needles onto that one. So I just added it onto my craft mat, spritzed it with water, dipped it into my cardstock, and then I added them onto a piece of acetate for a little bit of more controlled look, and I let it dry between each layer, and it created some really cool background for me. So I love that. And then I die cut that detailed square die using the outline die as well, and added villainous portion color to it. Then just with the outline die, I cut out a holographic card, which you can see it's backed up on, and I just glued it on top, just using the very thin, strong glue bottle. Then I die cut one of the clocks just with the clock face, so I didn't use any of the outline dies for that. I die cut once the white circle separately, and I used that piece of clock to stencil through. And this is how I got this lovely, so there's no dimension to this one. This is all stenciled using the die cut. So that's another technique. I really love doing this. It looks so cool. Die cut the handles from holographic card. And then I die cut a strip of card to 2 inches by 7.5. I embossed it with the embossing folder in 2 pieces. Don't worry about the joint. You can see it, but it's covered up with this element here, so you can't really see it. So it looks like a big, long embossed card, which it is basically. So yeah, I love how that looks in there. I stamped with Victorian velvet and heat embossed with clear gloss embossing powder all those cogs from the stamp set. I fussy cut them and I just glued them, tucking them here and there. Scent with Love is heat embossed with the silver bells embossing powder, which is lovely holographic glittery shine to it, matches very well with the holographic cardstock, and I just added a little holographic background to it, and that it finishes this card. How gorgeous is that? It's so different. Well, different from anything that I'd made before, and I love how it looks. So for card number 3, I used the partial die cutting technique. You can see how it is only cut halfway through in a diamond shape. I again used it in the diamond shape, similarly as in here. You don't have to do that. I'm going to show you a card where I didn't do that. So I took a 5 by 5 inch cardstock. I added my die in a diamond shape. And then when I went to send it through my die cutting machine, the top cutting plate was only as far as I wanted to cut it. So only on this part in here. I ran it through and it cut beautifully. So the second part, this other half of the cardstock, was intact. Then I took another piece of white card, 5.5 inches by 5. I scored it down at that 1/2 inch on the 5.5 inch side, and I used that as a hinge to attach my acetate to. So it's only that bit that my acetate is attached to. Then again I added a double-sided tape on top of that acetate, just where that hinge is, and I added my top piece. So this is separate from it. But you can obviously add more double-sided tape if you wish, but I think it was just quite different, quite lovely way not to show the adhesive in there as well. So yeah, I loved that. So what I did then, I've cut out the square outline from white card, added pine needles to it, and then the white circle again, the same white circle as is around the clock, just for a sentiment or a message that you could write in there. For the clock, I've cut out with all the outline dies, and then just the circle from white card, added peacock feathers to that one, and then the handles are of white too. I glued them on top of each other, and then I popped them up on foam pad. I cut a piece of white card to 2.5 by 4 3/4. I added Victorian velvet to that, and then I die cut this exact same frame one more time, and with the outline die this time, and then I cut them into quarters. So 2 of those I didn't use, but 2 of those I glued into the 2 corners. I think it gives such a lovely effect in there. So I stamped and heat embossed on heat resistant acetate some of the cogs using white embossing powder. I fussy cut them, and then I just glued them here and there. You Are Special is stamped with pine needles, and the background behind it is with pine needles as well, popped up on foam pads. And that's all it took to make this card. It was such a lovely process. I really enjoyed this. So for my next card, I made this into a shaker card. I don't know if you can see all those shaker elements in there. So this is the base of it is very easy. A 6 by 6 inch card, scored at 3 inches, folded in half. So that's all that is the base of the card. I added cardstock white one to it, and this one measures just 1/7 smaller. Yeah, 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. I added pine needles to it, and then I'm not sure if you can pick up on all that sparkle in there and the shine. It's peacock feathers distress spritz spray on top of this here, which is so gorgeous. I love the distress spritz sprays. They are, well, it's just something different. I use them all the time now. You're gonna keep running out of colors, I swear. It's just stunning. So this one measures 4 3/4 inch square white, and then 4 5/8 inch squared again white, and done exactly the same thing onto that one, but only on the edges. Pine needles and peacock feathers distress spritz spray. So then I took a white piece of card measuring 4.5 by 4.5, and what I did, I took some of the dies, so the detailed square, not the outline, just the detailed square. And then I took the clock face die in there, not the outline ones, just the clock face, together die cut into that square. So it's such a lovely effect. It's another lovely die cutting technique that you can use. And with this I got all the detailed cut into my square, so nothing is cut away from it other than the little bits of details that you can see in there, and obviously behind the clock as well. But then I cut one of the circles, the largest one, to which again I added the pine needles with the peacock feathers distress spray, and I added that behind the clock just, and then a slightly smaller just white card which I inked up using the saltwater taffy, and you can see that pink in the background in there behind the acetate, and as well as on the handles. So what I did, behind all this piece I added a piece of acetate. It is on foam pads. I added my shaker elements, which are lovely holographic white, and then all those green ones in there. And then I added the foam tape behind the clock and all around this, so the shakers not moving too much, so they don't go out of way behind the clock, they only stay in these open windows, which I think is such a fantastic effect. And then I've die cut this square one more time. I added Victorian velvet color to that, cut it into 4/4, and I glued it into the 4 corners. I think it's lovely. To bring a bit of a darker purple in, I just added these pearls and stamped congratulations, and I added it to the bottom. How cool is this? So many techniques in this one card. I really loved it. I think this took me quite a while to pull together because I wasn't sure where I was going with it, what way to do it, what way to decorate the front and all, but I'm really happy with how it turned out at the end. Sometimes it's worth the hassle. And last but not least, we have card number 5, which is a circle card, because I was asked to make one of them a circle. This is the scalloped and pierced edge circle die set, which I've used so many times before. One of my favorites go-tos, and you can see all that sparkle. Guys, this is amazing. Just so much sparkle on this one. Let me walk you through it. So the largest die, the scalloped edge one, 5 1/4 inch, die cut it twice, added a hinge to one of them, and then I used that hinge to glue the front of my card to. Parallel with that hinge, I cut a little bit away from the back. This way it stands up nicely, it's not going to rock. So I've cut the next size down, which is a pierced edge, straight edge circle, inked it up with a bit of peacock feathers. And then die cut the next one from the scalloped one from white cardstock, but with double-sided adhesive sheet attached to it. Then I've die cut the clock face using the 2 outline dies, the smaller and the larger circle. And then the larger circle again one more time. I added Victorian velvet color to it and added adhesive sticky sheet on top of that one as well. So the next step was to glue the green one onto the card base, and then this white with the adhesive sheet stuck to it onto the green. So there's no foam pads on any of those layers other than the sentiments. Everything is glued down nice and flat. So then I glued on this one, and then I've layered up the clock separately. So peeled back the adhesive sticky on the tattered rose one. I smoothed onto it my clock face, and then when it was all stuck to it properly, it was sticky everywhere where I was exposed, so I dipped it into my crystalline glitter, and I got this gorgeous sparkle. I'll try to show you this sparkle at the end of this video because it is just so hard to capture in here. And then I adhered this in the middle of this larger circle. I pulled the sticky sheet back, adhered this in the middle, and then I added all the little flowers which are from the die set from John Next Door. And I lost 2 little pearls. I'm going to replace these now. I'm not sure when did that happen, but just little white pearls in the middle of each flower, you see? These 2 just fallen off. I'm going to replace these before I send these off to Practical Publishing. So for the flowers I used all the different colors, Villainous Potion, Saltwater Taffy, Peacock Feathers, and I just added the 4 larger ones in the 4 main numbers, and then the smaller ones in there. I think it's so cute. For the hands of the clock and the sentiment I used pine needles to stamp it, and I added some Villainous Potion background behind that one. And then the little pearls finished it off. I'm going to add back the other 2 pearls, and then I will try to show you some close-ups of this one because I think that sparkle is just worth seeing a little bit in closer. So I have card number 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, such a gorgeous set of makes. I really loved making these as well. I really enjoy working with the clock because I think that opens up my options to some masculine cards, which I really struggle with. So yeah, that's what I will be using this for next. I really hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough, and if you did, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up and let me know which card out of these is your favorite. Thank you. Bye.